Hello, loves. Welcome back to the Sacred Rebel podcast. I am popping in here for a spontaneous episode. Wasn't expecting to record today, but there are a few things on my heart that I just want to express. A lot that I've been moving through, and I'm feeling that there's someone out there that needs to hear this. So here I am. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and as I was listening to it, it got me. I went onto Instagram and looked this person up and just was browsing through their posts and found myself in this a bit of a spiral, looking at their life and how successful they are, and that they're in this mastermind with incredible people, and found myself feeling envious. And it was interesting to witness myself in that space, because what I noticed actually was I saw a reel of this person speaking at an event. And something that I've been holding space for a while now is being a speaker at big events. I've had visions where I've seen myself speaking and holding space for large rooms, healing large rooms telepathically. Like, I've had some really cool visions in that space. And when I saw these reels, I thought to myself, I don't even want that. And so it just brought me this reality check that what am I holding space for that is not even mine? Like, what dreams am I holding space for that I don't even desire? And how much is that clouding my vision? How much is that clouding the actions that I'm taking? How much is that creating noise in the space that I want to be clear and intentional? Last night, I co-hosted an event that was like a seasonal intention setting ceremony. And it's the first that we had ever done with it. And it's actually leading into our mastermind, which maybe I'll mention at the end here. But this space was really beautiful, because sometimes I need that space for reflection. Sometimes I'm moving so fast, moving forward in such momentum, that I don't stop to look and think about, what am I holding space for? One of the messages that came through as I did a reading for the group last night was, where are we holding toxic responsibility? What are we holding on to that's not ours? And this beautiful message came through about to-do lists, and that the way that we can bridge this sexy masculine to-do list, the feminine is this beautiful creator, very intuitive, very in flow, very, very creative. And she's the visionary. And the masculine comes in and executes the vision, right? So the masculine is the to-do list. But where are we creating to-do lists from this place of toxic responsibility? Where are we creating these lists of things to do that are holding space for what's not even ours? Clearly, this message is for me too. I mean, every time I do a reading, I feel like a lot of the messages are for me as well. The message that came through in terms of how to navigate that was to create the to-do list, but to review them one by one, review each thing and ask, is this my energy to carry? Is this mine to hold? There's that feminine balance. There's that feminine check, is this mine? Is this my vision? Is this really my responsibility? Responsibility is an interesting topic. As somebody who does healing, facilitates healing work in the world, something that I have been navigating when I went to and co-hosted a retreat in Greece this past December, I realized that my energy clearing practices weren't enough in that particular space. And so I've been so hyper focused on how can I expand my ability to clear energy, to move energy through. I can hold some space. But the clearing of that it's like I was holding too much energy and not moving it fast enough through me. It's like I had filters there, where I'm trying to, whether I'm trying to navigate healing, subconsciously holding that energy. I don't know, to be honest. But I knew that I was not transmuting that energy that was coming through me fast enough. And so it begs the question, do I need to expand my capacity to hold and move energy, or do I need to consider what am I holding that's really not mine? This year I have gone through a lot. And I'm sure some of you are feeling that as well. I mean, I have let go of some relationships that I've recognized were toxic, that I've recognized were not moving me forward. Were not challenging me. Were not where I wanted them to be. I can't help but see the best in people. Sometimes I'm sure a lot of you feel this way too. And I've had to make some decisions in standing by my truth and standing by what I need in a relationship, what makes me feel safe in a relationship. And I've had to speak that truth. And that's something that, for those of you that have been following me and know how much I talk about and preach about unapologetic expression in intimate relationship, that's something that I'm still navigating, that I'm still working through. So speaking my truth vulnerably in intimate spaces is harder for me to do. And I've had to do a lot of that this year. And to be honest, even last year, towards like the second half of last year as well. So maybe even for the last year, gosh, it's May already. For the last year, this is something that I've been navigating. And I truly believe that these things are here because they're clearing space for me to move into the next version of myself that wants to come through. It's clearing space for me to show up and move forward in my path with the strength and the power that I'm capable of. So, to wrap this up here, I'd love to invite you to start to think about, where are you carrying energy that's not serving you being in your brightest, most epic, raddest fucking self. And I'm going to do this too. And if you're interested, as I mentioned, I held that space last night. Melissa and I are co-hosting this mastermind, and it is for women only. And if you desire space around other women that are on this journey, that are wanting to step into the best, highest version of themselves, and you just want to be in that energy, we're going to be focused on the energetics, moving through the energetics. It's not just going to be about where do I want to go, like the difference between the space between where I am now and where I want to be. It's not just about strategy and the wisdom and the methods and the rhythms that we need to be in to get from here to there. But it's about the energetics that we're being asked to master along the way. And that was, by the way, one thing I noticed about this person I mentioned, that I was in her Instagram and looking at, feeling envious about this mastermind that she's in. There was not one spiritual leader in that mastermind. And I believe that when we bridge logic with intuition, that's when we create limitless possibility. We cannot do that from the mind. The mind is too limited. The mind is also very masculine. So how do we invite in that expansive creativity? We do that through the feminine. We do that through intuition. And there are other ways too, of course. But if you're not thinking about bringing and bridging both of those worlds in, you're creating from a limited space. And I really believe that. And also know that when I was in corporate Kristen thought anything was possible. And I was very in my masculine, very much in my mind. And I get that, like, I didn't think anything was impossible, honestly. But now I see the truth and I see what's really possible without the limits of the mind. And it's truly incredible. So there is space for the energetics. The energetics belong in the path that we're creating, in everything that we create, in fulfilling our desires, in walking the path that we know we're meant to walk. Energetics is what creates that safe space for us to land. All right, loves. I will post in the show notes information on getting into that mastermind if you want to talk, if you want to go deeper with me with a reading or work one-on-one. I am coaching again. It's not something that I thought I was going to do, but I've opened up spaces for that again this year. I thought that I was going to be more of a teacher, and now I've really melded the two together to create some really beautiful offerings. So if you want to talk more about what that could look like, I would love to connect with you. And otherwise, I am going to get into this podcast more. I want to. And there are so many people that have listened to the podcast. And if you feel called to share the episode with someone, I would love that. The more we can get this conversation out to other people, the more that we can spread this love into the world. And if you feel called to share your experience of it, I would love for you to leave a review. I think it helps get the podcast word out. So sending lots and lots of love and happy Mother's Day to any of you mothers out there.